Houston-based oil and gas giant ConocoPhillips announced last week that it's cutting as much as a quarter of its global workforce. That's about 3,000 jobs. The company says rising costs and a push for efficiency are behind the move, which comes despite ConocoPhillips posting nearly $2 billion in profits last quarter. Jordan Blum is the energy editor for Fortune magazine. He joins us now. Jordan, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. What do these layoffs signal about the broader energy market, first of all?
Yeah, it's not a great sign, and it's really a confluence of a lot of different things. You mentioned efficiency. I mean, we knew ConocoPhillips was going to cut jobs. Chevron, BP, Shell, a bunch of others are doing the same. This is definitely a bigger cut than was anticipated, especially for these companies making billions of dollars still. I mean, the 25%, if it is that, that'll be a little over 3,000 jobs, a lot of which would be in Houston, not all of which. But really, it's a combination of a lot of different factors for ConocoPhillips and the industry overall. There's been a lot of consolidation. They've done a lot of M&A, bought Concho Resources. They bought Marathon Oil. They bought a bunch of Permian assets from Shell in the last few years. There's lower oil prices now. There's a lot more efficiency gains from automation, machine learning, and now AI. They've the industry has cut about 12,000 jobs just since April, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. But the industry is down in a decade just because of all the efficiency gains and everything else, at least 35% since late 2014. So it's been producing a lot more oil, but with a lot fewer people. I guess I was talking to somebody last week. We're talking about kind of the days of that kind of classic mud-covered roughneck smoking a cigarette on a drilling rig is long gone. A lot more of it's automated, a lot more of it's safer, but with fewer people.
Yeah, you mentioned AI, and of course, it's easy to go directly to that and think about the impact it may be having on the industry, and maybe we shouldn't underestimate that. But whether you're talking about AI or other automation or machine operated, basically what it comes down to is there were a lot of jobs that human beings used to do that they don't do anymore in this industry. And is that necessarily a good thing?
Well, it's not great for the people working in the jobs. On the other hand, it's better for the company's bottom line. It is safer, as they'll tell you. But yeah, I mean, they just, from the white collar geologists and engineers, you don't need as many, and then the blue collar, roustabouts and whatnot as well. You just don't need as many. I was talking to, let's say, Schlumberger. Now they go by SLB. That's the biggest oil field services company in the world. They have the technology now. They launched it late last year. They have a neuro, let's call it, but they call it automated drilling. They can drill miles and miles of wells under the subsurface, all controlled, automated through AI now. I mean, it's starting to happen. It's kind of starting to supercharge things right now.
So, what sort of an impact are we seeing here in the Houston area? Is it clear to at this point in terms of how many of those Conoco jobs might be coming from here?
We don't know exact numbers, but several hundreds, probably more. I mean, I assume more than 1,000 would be in the Houston area, but I'm speculating there. I don't know that for sure. I mean, they're Houston based, and if you're talking 3,000 jobs, definitely a big chunk of them will be Houston based. They closed their Marathon Oil acquisition late last year, so they had already laid off a few hundred people following that because they didn't carry over a lot of the Marathon people. Of course, Marathon also Houston based, so again, that's a pretty decent local impact.
Do announcements like this have any impact on consumers? I mean, do we see prices at the pump go up or down every time there's a headline about a company that's decided to cut jobs or they're acquiring another company? There's some big move within the industry.
Well, there's not an impact on prices at the pump, but the lower oil prices that are contributing to this does mean lower prices at the pump. Granted, people like lower prices for their gasoline. That's not necessarily a good thing always for Houston's economy. At the same time, there's always going to be ripple effects throughout the Houston area, whether it's restaurants, retail buying, all of that factors in.
The oil and gas industry, of course, notoriously goes through these boom and bust cycles and goes through periods of mergers and acquisitions followed by periods of consolidations. Is that just what we're seeing here, or do you think this is part of a larger, different sort of trend or direction that the industry's going?
It's both. We're in kind of a semi downturn right now. So the benchmark oil price is close to $63 a barrel right now, which is a little bit of a no man's land of it's definitely not good for the industry, but it's not quite to bust levels. So it could get worse before it gets better. But at the same time, as we're talking about all these efficiency gains, that's a permanent part of the industry. Those jobs aren't coming back no matter what. Some people have said, it's kind of the industry's kind of a victim of its own success in that way, especially for a lot of these oil field service companies that do the drilling, the fracking. They've become much more efficient and therefore not as much of their business is needed.
We do tend to see here in Greater Houston that there tends to be this concept that if a move that an oil and gas company makes is good for upstream jobs, it's bad for downstream, and vice versa. Are you seeing a move like this from ConocoPhillips as something that is potentially bad news for both, potentially good news for both, or just one or the other?
Well, it's not good for any part of the industry. At the same time, we're seeing kind of this plateauing of the industry right now. It's not busting, but it, the production, the oil and gas production has stopped growing. So we're near all-time highs right now that were set earlier this year in oil production. But again, it's produced much more efficiently, and with the oil price lower now, it's plateaued. It's not growing for sure, and it's starting to come down a little bit. So we'll see how that plays out. OPEC, Saudi Arabia, they keep producing more and more oil. They announced another increase over the weekend, actually, not a huge one, but another one. So again, that puts a little more pressure on oil prices. No one's expecting oil prices to go up anytime soon. Not the rest of this year, not next year either. We'll see beyond that. For natural gas, things are a bit more bullish. That doesn't really drive the industry as much, but there's a lot more growth happening with LNG, that's liquefied natural gas exports, lots of construction along the Gulf Coast. The AI boom is requiring more natural gas, or will require more natural gas to power all these data centers they're building all over the country, all over the world. So there is some bullishness, but that's in the more medium term, the nearer future, not the present so much.
Jordan Blum is the energy editor for Fortune magazine. Jordan, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.